Born Primitive Outdoor is proud to partner with Montana Knife Company, Marsupial Gear, Evolution Outdoors, Sheep Feet, and Capture Gear. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our sponsors. Good morning, everyone. I apologize that I sound like the Snuffleupagus. I've got allergies. Never had them before in my life. Got them 2 weeks ago, so I sound funny. So apologize for that. But today we are going to talk about the next Born Primitive Academy course. And I have Kurt Gamache on with me. Kurt is in Virginia Beach at the Born Primitive office. I've had Kurt on the podcast before, and then Kurt and I work together every day, which is great. So Kurt, what's cracking in Virginia Beach this morning?
Yeah, what's up, man? Just enjoying life, living the dream, grinding away. Excited to get this next academy kicked off. I think you're going to be talking about that here. I'm on just kind of back you up, give you a little backup dancer vibe, and provide some more context on what we got going on with this next academy. So let's get into it.
Yeah. So the next academy will be July 17th through the 21st. And if you're flying in, Riverton is not a big airport. So if you're flying in, you want to be on the flight that arrives around 1:30. There is only one flight at that time. So it'll be sometime between 1:16 and 1:40 generally is when it's going to be landing. And so that's the flight you'll want to take in on the 17th. And if you're driving in, just plan on being at my house. We'll give you my address around 2:30, no later than 2:30. Now, on the flight home on the 21st, you're going to want to take the flight that leaves at 2-ish o'clock to 2:30 in the afternoon. Again, there's only one flight. Now, as far as the timeline of what's going to happen and what we're going to do and everything else, we have a pretty rough draft or a pretty fine-tuned draft on that, but things may change slightly. So when you land, we'll meet at my house. We'll have given you a gear list that you need to follow very closely. You'll already have all of the gear loaded up in your backpack, ready to go, the food, everything else. We will have maps and fuel for you, the fuel being, because you can't fly with that. And we will head out after everybody gathers up at my house. We will head out and start shuttling people up to where we're going to hike in from. We will need to shuttle a little bit. The road's pretty rough in like a 6-seater side-by-side, so we will shuffle a few groups up. That'll take a couple hours to get everybody up there from where we hike in. Once we get everybody up from the takeoff point, we'll actually probably camp there that night, and that would be Thursday night, and then we'll hike in Friday morning. As far as signing up, what you want to do is get a hold of me, and that's Aron, Aron, at Born Primitive, so BornPrimitive.com, and I will get you the info you need, where to cut the check. You will have to cut a check to pay for this course, but I'll get you the info, who you cut the check to, everything else. That's how you would pay. You're gonna get a hold of me. I'm gonna give you the address and who to make the check out to, and you'll cut the check to that person. As far as Kurt, as I'm talking too much, am I missing anything so far?
No, you're doing great, man. I'll chime in when you're done.
No, once you cut the check, once we receive the check, then obviously you are signed up for the course. But before that, obviously, if you have questions, you're going to get a hold of me or Kurt with questions about the course. We will, once you say you want to go, you're going to cut that check. We're going to send you an email with a gear list. You can get a hold of us for any questions you have. We'll go over the itinerary kind of in a minute of what we're going to be covering each day. But beforehand, we'll get you all the info you need as far as what gear to have in your backpack, and again, what we'll be covering in the course. That's probably enough before we go into the itinerary of the course. But Kurt, you got anything else?
No, it's solid.
So
let's get into it.
Okay, yep. So on the course, You'll need a moderate fitness level. You don't need to be a rabbit, right? You just need to get there. So don't worry about speed. The hike in's not that bad. We will hike in a little ways. It'll probably be 2 miles, maybe 2.5 at the most. Slight incline, nothing too crazy. That again will happen Friday morning. That hike in, that movement in is not going to take too terribly long. So worst case scenario, if we get in there in 2 hours, in which it probably won't even take that long, couple hours, we will be teaching, we'll be going into many different things. But once you get your shelter set up, we're going to talk about shelter placement, how to put in dead man anchors, different situations where you may or may not want to pitch a tent in one area or another, pitching it into the wind, how to do that, setting up tarps, setting up hammocks, pros and cons to 3-season and 4-season shelters, pros and cons to hammocks, setting up just a tarp where floorless comes into play, using a backpacking wood stove. We'll cover all that initially. Then we're going to go into some other different skills we talked about in the first course we went into, which is like knot tying, how to do like a taut line hitch, a bow line, a trucker's hitch. We're going to go into a few different knots you'll be tested on, pretty basic stuff like that. We're also going to go into, I guess it wouldn't be primitive fire, but standard, well, I don't know, what would you call that as far as the fire building?
I would say more like traditional fire building, outside of, using modern implements like a lighter. We will be using ferro rods and, flint and steel and things like that. So I would say more traditional fire starting techniques.
Yeah, and when you go into this stuff, like if you never use a ferro rod in the field, it is good to know how to build. I personally bring one now all the time, and I'm good enough with it now that I don't hardly even use a lighter or trioxane or anything else unless, I'm in a real big hurry. So, we'll go into what to look for, fat wood, what to gather, how to build your little nest. And Kurt's better at this stuff than I am, but we'll go into that. We'll also have Colton Gilman with us. He'll be helping out as well as an instructor. But we'll touch on, we will go into the fire building aspect of it, water filtration and purification, different systems for that. Again, how to pitch a tarp when you might want to run that, pretty basic stuff. We'll also be going into great depth into land navigation. This course will be quite a bit more on land nav. And how we set this up is, if you're drinking through a fire hose in land nav, you definitely want to take a break from your brain and your eyes occasionally. And so we will be, when you are kind of rotating through the classes or the different subjects, you're going to kind of rotate out of land nav and you'll rotate into a different subject that we will be teaching you. And so it just gives the brain a break. But that first day, we're going to go into definitely basic compass, the basics of how to use a compass, how to shoot an azimuth, a back azimuth. We'll cover those things the first day, along with everything else I had talked about. And then when we go into day two will be pretty much land nav all day, kind of rotating into other things as you're giving your brain a break. And Kurt, you probably want to take a little bit from here because you're better at this than I am.
You're doing amazing, bud. I'll just back up a little bit, and you guys already got the dates. Aron talked about a little bit of the physical requirements in order to get in. Honestly, that's just to make sure that you guys can hike a few miles and expect to do maybe a few kilometers or miles a day if we're moving around to do land navigation. Nothing very intensive. We're not going to be stressing you guys out. This is very much from our perspective, a level 1 course. So as we continue to develop these Born Primitive Academy courses, we're going to kind of increase the levels and offer some more intermediate and advanced level options. But right now we're calling the level 1 course, which will be what this one is, a very entry level, more of a gentleman's course, something that you can come and expect to not have much knowledge or any knowledge in certain aspects, and we will teach you and work with you on all of those things. Obviously, in some of the more advanced courses, you will be expected to arrive with a very good understanding of some of those foundational skills before going into those courses. So again, you don't have to stress out about not knowing how to start a fire at all. If you always wanted to learn, this is going to be your opportunity. Same with how to read a map and use a compass effectively in the field. And all of these skills are going to be based around not those extreme survival expert level scenarios. They will absolutely apply in some of those settings, but our foundation is going to be based around backpack hunting. So we're going to present you a lot of scenarios, real world and hypothetical, that you could find yourselves in, and why these skills we're teaching you can apply and how you're going to apply them in real world scenarios, just not these off the wall hypotheticals that, have a 0% chance of actually happening. So we want to kind of transfer that knowledge that we have to you in a real world setting so that you can apply them into whatever endeavor you have. Again, the area we're going to be in, it's going to be deep in the Wyoming wilderness. It is a grizzly area, so we will have everything that we need to make sure that the safety of all of the students out there are taken into a high account. All the cadre are highly trained individuals with medical expertise, and we'll have your protection in mind with everything regarding that. And the area is going to be roughly just below tree line. So you can expect, I don't know, what's that, around 9,000 feet? No.
Yeah, we'll be roughly around 9,000, maybe a little bit over that. And, kind of extending what Kurt was saying, when you're heading into the backcountry, you just drew a tag, you're looking at heading into the wilderness the first time. The one thing I've found with these courses is, as we call, Kurt said, this is a level 1 course. What I have found, and this isn't casting shade on anyone, everybody's version of level 1 is probably a little bit different. For Kurt and I, and others, level 1 is definitely things we already know. We've been doing this for a very long time. I've definitely found people that have hunted for 10 to 15 years that attend these courses that I would assume maybe would be more familiar with what we would consider a level 1 course are certainly not. So I want to make sure that people understand, like, if it's above and beyond, let's say, just reading a map and compass, most people don't know how to do that. We're going to go into that. The other thing is also wilderness medicine. And when I say wilderness medicine, basically the situations you're going to be putting yourself into and how to deal with them if there's an injury, how to use the land navigation or your GPS, to potentially call in a search and rescue team. We're going to go into that. As far as water purification, filtration, a lot of people just use an inline filter, not a big deal. It works. We're going to go into much more depth of all the different scenarios, whether you have a filtration system, if you don't, ways to make an actual filtration system when you're in the wilderness, which isn't really that big of a deal. If you're stuck without anything, where you want to look for water, without any kind of purification or filtration system, and many other things to look at when water sources are low. Tricks of the trade, little hacks, things like that. Again, very applicable to backpack hunting. Also, route planning. We're going to go into route planning as we go into land navigation. We're going to go into a little bit of stalking, and that will be how I use a compass to go on stalks, especially when you're solo in the high country. Also, the knot tying aspect of it. I have found most people don't know how to tie knots. Where those knots are, what knots you need to learn, where they're applicable. You can pretty much get away with 3 to 4 knots for the rest of your life and be fine. We'll go into those. When we have a little bit of downtime when we're around a campfire, we're going to go into different scenarios of like getting stuck overnight. What should be on your person at all times in case that happens, and how to handle a potentially survival situation and turn that into a slight uncomfortable overnight experience instead of a actual survival experience, how to handle those things. So it all is very applicable to backpack hunting. And we're going to, obviously we want you will be tested on this. So when you walk away, we want to make sure that you actually know what you're doing. So each individual will be tested on everything that we're talking about. So you will walk away with quite a bit of knowledge. You're up now.
I was wondering what that pause is. No, man, I'm kind of going through all my notes, and you pretty much have covered everything. I think the biggest thing that, if you guys are listening to this and you're very interested in it, the only thing that you really need to be stressing out about is the gear list, obviously. And we're going to send that to you, making sure you have all the gear you need. If you're a little unsure about the physical aspect, all you got to do, get your backpack that you're going to be taking out on this thing, throw 40 pounds of weight in it, and just, every day up until this course, go out and just walk a moderate pace, a mile, then go to 2 miles, then go to 4 miles. So just kind of, getting your body and your joints ready for what you're going to experience out here. Nothing too intensive, but just make yourself on, because you're not used to this.
Yeah.
And really, that's really all you should be stressing about. And everything else is going to get taught to you in a very calm, controlled method, with deliverables, and you guys are gonna learn it and take it on board.
Yeah, and it'll be, again, it is just walking. So we don't care how fast you get there, as long as you get there. Just be as prepared as you can in a moderate level of fitness, and you'll be fine. The other thing, pack fitting, how to load a pack, pretty basic stuff really, but I found, you can always learn a little bit. So we'll definitely cover all of that stuff, as well as things that kind of just pop up. You guys will be able to ask questions, especially when you're rotating out of one subject like land nav, where you may need to pay attention a little bit more. When you rotate out of that and we're just sitting there kind of BSing, you can ask any question you can come up with about a hunt you have coming up, an issue you've had, and we'll knock out all of those questions as the day goes on. And I know people really like that, the scenarios where they've had issues before, didn't know what to do. You can throw those questions at us all day long, again, so which is, also handy. So I'm going to go over the dates again one more time. It'll be July 17th through the 21st. On the 17th, you will land roughly, depending upon when the Riverton airport has that flight, but roughly around 1:30 in the afternoon. We will have vehicles there to pick you up and give you a ride over to my house. If you're driving in, you want to show up around 2:30 at my house, and we'll give you that address, once you sign up for the course. Everybody will gather up, throw everything in the pack. We're going to head out, about an hour and a half drive, give or take. We'll get everybody kind of staged at the kickoff point, where we're going to start shuttling people up in the side-by-side, again, because of the rough road. Once everybody gets up to the wilderness area, we'll be on the border of the wilderness area where we're going to hike in. We will probably, more than most likely, stay the night right there. And then we will take off Friday morning for the hike in. Now, if everything goes really smooth and we're all feeling, spry, we may hike in Thursday night or the night of the 17th, but more than most likely we're going to hike in the 18th. Again, you'll already have the gear list, everything will be packed, you'll be ready to go. Once we're in there, we're going to go over everything we talked about, and over the course of the next few days, we will probably end up hiking out the evening of the 20th, and at least camp and start shuttling people out the morning of the 21st. So we would camp on the wilderness boundary and that 4-wheel drive road the night of the 20th, and probably start shuttling people out early in the morning on the 21st to get everybody to the airport by that noon-ish timeline. Now, if you want to take a shower or anything like that, we can talk about this when you get here, but there are hotels in town. So if everyone as a group collectively decides that maybe we want to head down the 20th a little bit early so people can shower before they fly and head out, we can handle that accordingly as it gets there. But the end of the course, or when you're heading home, is the 21st. The flight out is around 2:00, or you're driving home on the 21st, which is a Sunday. Again, we can cover or finalize things a little bit better as far as what everybody wants the evening of the 20th. The way that you would pay is get a hold of me, Aron at bornprimitive.com. And I will let you know where to send the check to, and the amount of the course. That's one thing I forgot. We totally screwed that up. We will be charging $1,300 for this course. So when you look at that, you're basically paying about $285 to $290 a day. So I feel this is a very good price point for what you're going to take out of this course. We will also have some giveaways and things like that, as far as most improved, who's, different challenges you might have. So you will be bringing some stuff home, some pretty cool pieces of gear as far as that goes. Let's see here. So to go over everything and kind of make sure, we cover everything one more time. You will fly in on the 17th and you will land in Riverton around 1:30. If you're driving in, I plan on arriving in Riverton around 2:30 at my house, and I'll give you that address once you sign up for the course. At that point, the drive in the vehicles is going to be about an hour to an hour and a half away. We will have vehicles at the airport to pick you up when you get there. Come over to my house, everybody meets up, off we go. Again, about an hour and a half to get everybody to the kind of takeoff point where we're going to shuttle people up on a 4-wheel drive road to the point where we're going to hike in. More than most likely, that's going to take a bit of time, and we will be staying at the wilderness boundary the evening of the 17th. But if it goes smooth, we could be hiking in the evening of the 17th. We'll just play it by ear, see what happens. But more than most likely, hiking in on the 18th. We'll go over the course of the 18th, 19th, and 20th, everything that we just talked about. And we will either be coming out the evening of the 20th or the morning of the 21st. Now, if everybody wants to go down, people want to take a shower, get a hotel, we'll figure that out. Again, play it by ear as we go. And so we may end up coming out everyone on the evening of the 20th, if that is the group decision that we decide. So as far as if you have questions and things of that nature about the course and everything else, you can email me, Aron@bornprimitive.com. And I'll answer whatever questions you have. I will be the person you can contact for payment to get you the address and everything else. Once you have signed up for the course and sent the check off, you can get a hold, we'll get you Kurt's email address if you have questions for him. He can get you gear lists as well as I can. But again, that's once you sign up for the course. We don't want, Kurt has a lot of other stuff going on. We don't want you flooding his email with questions and just sucking info from him when you're not going to the course, when he's got a lot of other crap going on. Everybody's got my email anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. Once you have given the green light, probably just screenshot the check so I know you're coming. Not to be funny, but seriously, like we have people that say they're going to come and then inevitably don't show up, and we've given them, and 3 hours of our time. So once we've got the green light that you're coming, again, then we're going to be, you can call me. We'll get you Kurt his email, figure out whatever questions you have, answer those. You'll have the gear list, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the chain of events in the course of what's going to happen. The price of the course is going to be $1,300. So that's $285 a day or whatever it comes out to be. So you do get a lot of knowledge out of this for the price. We tried to keep it as low as we possibly could, but the price of the course will be $300. At that point, there will be some giveaways and prizes, most improved, different challenges you may have. So you will walk away. There will be quite a bit of stuff that we're giving away as well, which isn't kind of an added bonus. Other than that, I don't think I have anything. Did I miss anything, Kurt?
No, I think honestly you covered all of it. So solid work.
Yeah, cool. Again, I really appreciate Born Primitive allowing Kurt and I to do these academy courses. The first course went really well, so I was very pumped about that. You will walk away with a high level of knowledge from this level 1 course. We will be offering level 2 and 3 courses later on down the line, but this is level 1. But as I have come to find, most people, even that have hunted 10 to 15 years, are missing a lot of the level 1 skills, whether that be the land nav portion of it, the knot tying. So it's definitely something that most people heading out west to hunt or already living out west will benefit from. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, I should probably stop talking and go drink some more caffeine. Kurt, do you want to add anything before we hop off here?
No, solid. I think maybe are you done? Did you wrap it up?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
We're still recording.
The only thing that I think you didn't mention was how many people we could take, up to 15 people. I don't know if that's important or relevant.
I think I'll have Jerry mention it in text, when he makes the post.
The only thing is, like, it could, I guess, as we start selling slots, it's like, hey, there's only 5 more slots left. If you guys want it, these are going quick, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll have Jerry list it, though, when he posts it. 15 slots available. So,
yeah.
Cool.
And I guess as we fill slots, it would be, I don't know how much traffic those posts or anything get, but we could do like countdown 13 out of 15 spots left or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, this will be one where I'm going to do a video. I think Mishka and I are going to backpack in tomorrow. And I probably going to do the video for my page while we're out and about to make it look by the tent or a tarp or some shit to make it look a little cooler. And then, I'm going to have some different things that we're going to gather while we're out there to throw on my story, and then just put like sign up for the BPO Academy, whatever, click here or something. Or the page or whatever for the next academy for info, the academy that'll send it to this post. So, all right, cool, dude. I'm going to go pop this in the computer and send it to Jerry to get edited.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see ya.